Hello, and welcome to the internet. Or really, welcome to another video. Historical usage of social media. And, I guess, personal usage? So, I just recently finished Edward Snowden's new book, Permanent Record. And while that book itself is like really just a whole different video, one of the things that I thought was kind of fascinating was him talking about how he himself grew up kind of at the dawn of the internet and how just living in that era basically sculpted his whole life from that point on. So if that generation got to experience sort of the dawn of the internet itself, it seems like my generation was more at the forefront of the dawn of social media. So for me personally, I don't really use social media as much as I really ought to, being a writer and being someone who, actually might want to sell a story or 2 or 10. The friends I have on social media are typically the people that I actually know in person, or at least loosely know. I don't have a whole bunch of randoms necessarily, which might just end up being my downfall as I go about this YouTube channel, because I haven't been frickin' using it. But going back in time just a little bit, I grew up in the age of MySpace. We fortunate few, kind of at the dawn of social media in general, besides just like forums on the internet. Like, I remember I was only maybe 12 or 13 and I'm having conversations with people on MySpace, and we are specifically talking about how addicting it was, how much you always went back to it just to check those notifications or to see what someone else posted. And, back then, it was just kind of harmless fun. You never really thought about the implications of it, like, further down the road. Then you flash forward to modern times, where just a few months ago we had that Facebook whistleblower, Haugen, I believe was her last name. She leaked all the internal documents of Facebook to, I believe, the Wall Street Journal, and then testified about those findings. And with her actually being like a Facebook insider, she could see what others couldn't. And one of the biggest revelations out of her testimony and out of those documents were just the impacts of social media on children, young girls especially. They experience declines in mental health, or develop eating disorders, or just have their insecurities amplified, because they are always comparing themselves to the impossible standards that are set forth by, various models on Instagram. And it's really just a shame. And this is all straight from Facebook's own internal research. That's probably the most astounding part, is that they know this is happening, but then they don't do anything about it. Plus other implications, but I'll leave that for you to research on your own. #ResearchReality. And then of course you have an entire generation of kids who, without their consent, their entire life is now being documented on whatever platform is most popular. Sure, right now it's Facebook and Instagram. Maybe TikTok now? I don't know. And I'm not saying that, hey, you shouldn't do this as a parent, because that's not my right. You can do whatever you want with your life and with your social media account. I'm just saying it's an interesting topic of discussion. Their entire lives documented on social media. Because for me and my generation, it was us sharing stuff from our own teenage years. It wasn't like our parents putting up baby photos and us as toddlers and us as preteens and so on and so forth. It reminds me of that song that Bo Burnham did in his special titled Inside, where during the song Welcome to the Internet, he kind of personifies the internet itself, and he's kind of talking like from the perspective of the internet. He has the line that goes, "See a man beheaded, get offended, see a shrink. Show us pictures of your children, tell us every thought you think. Start a rumor, buy a broom," or I don't want to do the rest of the song, I'm sorry. But it's like, knowing what we know now about the impacts of social media on just human society in general, and then thinking about what we might not know. and looking at the trends of where social media started and where it is now to where it is going. Looking at you, Metaverse and Neuralink and virtual reality. Now, I mean, it might not be as sinister as that. Maybe in 10 years' time, we won't be connecting our brain to the Wi-Fi. Maybe we will. But just looking at what we are capable of now with the current technology that we have, at this exact moment in time, you can watch Netflix in virtual reality with your virtual couch and your virtual cat and your virtual TV, and that is just something that is at your disposal. So you multiply that by 10 or 20 years, and you have the new dawn of social media. But just thinking about the next generation of kids, growing up in the next generation of social media, and thinking about what those whistleblowers will be telling us in 10, 20, 30 years from now. You know, looking back at my own social media usage, I guess I'm kind of glad that I never did get fully absorbed into the dopamine machine. But as a somewhat infrequent user of social media, now that I have a YouTube channel, people will be hearing from me to the point of lunacy. Now, I would like to start tying in some of the music to whatever topic it is that I'm talking about. What can I tie to social media? A lot of it, but not really. This is harder than I thought. Tupac! You know, Tupac was always talking about the internet. I'm just kidding. Whitechapel has a song or two about the internet or the digital age. Lamb of God, on their self-titled album, have a few songs about that particular topic. Yeah, I don't know. We'll need to put more thought into that next time. But yeah, social media usage. Things to ponder. And until then, we will see you on the next video. Later.